Good morning and welcome to Finding True Love. Do you find that your heart is getting broken far too often? You feel like you're stuck in that same old pattern? If so, then this next 15 minutes is for you. Hi, I'm Miss Chrissy D with the P&K Files, preparing you for when life happens. And this is Darlene Turner from VictimToVictory, and together we're thePerspective.
Hi, everyone. So last week, and we've been talking about meridians, and this is actually our very last meridians. And this last 2 weeks are all encompassed in the fire, which is 4 meridians. And this, we're talking about the ministerial meridian was So last week we talked about the heart and the small intestine, which is really being able to discern the experience, what we want to, attributes we want to keep and learn, and what we want to let go. And this week we're bringing in the triple heater and the circulation and sex meridians. And they're, like I said, both under the fire, which is red, why I'm wearing red, which is summer, and it's heat. And it's passion, and there's lots encompassed in this. So if Michael will bring up our meridian here, I'll just look at my picture, and it shows the triple warmer as actually really wrapped around the ear, coming down the side of the neck, straight down the arm and into the finger. So if you have sometimes that outer shoulder issue, maybe you can't raise your arm in some ways, there could be a block within that, maybe some hearing issues. So let me just go through what this meridian's about. It's actually broken down into 3 sections. So there's the upper burner, which gives the energy to the respiratory, the lungs, the heart, the upper body, the brain, the head. And then from the diaphragm down to the belly button is the middle burner. And that is your digestion. That's all of the all the goodness that we've been talking about, small intestine, spleen, and all these things. And then the lower burner is our elimination. It's our the kidneys, the bladder, the reproduction also is encompassed within this. It serves the endocrine system, and it regulates the information and the whole chemistry of the whole body. There's 520 hormones that are hooked up to this one. And so you can really see how this oversees the actual nervous system, because if we're in fight or flight, then this is what really kicks in to shut down the organs, to release all the chemicals that help us get ready to run and fight, or whatever that is that we need to do in that moment. So this one can really easily get a imbalance in it with trauma or whatever, when that nervous system gets stuck on. And this is where we connect the dots. This is where the whole body comes in, because this encompasses the 3 main whole functioning of our whole body. So I'll just really quickly go over a couple of things. I already kind of talked about this physically. It's the respiratory, the digestion, the absorption, the elimination. Mentally, it's unclear thinking, anxiety. Emotionally, it shows up as jealousy, grudges, phobias, depression, and self-esteem. It's really an overall imbalance in the whole body. Now, the next one we're talking about is circulation and sex meridian. And let me get my picture, because I know Michael's bringing up his. We can see how this one comes up that second finger in the hand, all the way up the inside of your arm, all the way up into your chest here. And this one is all about the pericardium. And it's actually, sometimes that's another substitute of a name for this meridian. And that is actually a sac that goes around the heart and protects our heart. It cushions it, really. It's got that fluid in there as well. So physically, this can show up as back, spinal column, bones, teeth, vision, hearing, leg and knee pain, urination. Sleep is big in this one. We talked about sleep last week. All those ones with insomnia that can't sleep, there's very likely an imbalance in this meridian. Sore breasts. Mentally, it's a lack of fluidity in life. It's living in the past or hindsight. And emotionally, this is huge. It's jealousy, vulnerability, betrayal, heartache, insecurity, abandonment, grudges. And spiritually, it's will and it's resolution. So This is where this heart, like I'm saying, it protects it physically from the outside world, but it also protects us emotionally and mentally. It puts a cocoon around us so that that helps our vulnerability. But these meridians are all about love, relationships, balance, harmony, and learning how to grow from these relationships and move past the experience into healthy, loving relationships.
Mm.
What do you think, Chrissy?
Very interesting. Yes, because I think what a lot of us do, we're not in healthy relationships because we're not coming from that place yet. We don't love ourselves, so we're looking outward for somebody to fill that void for us. We all have that one friend that always has to be in a relationship. They may be not even out of one and they're already looking for the other one because they don't feel good about themselves. So they're looking for somebody else to make them feel good. And I'll use myself as a perfect example of that. I used to look at myself as unlovable. I was the throwaway wife. It didn't matter. When I didn't have anything left, I would get discarded. And now I come from a place of I do like myself. I love myself. I feel strong. I'm passionate about my life. And when I meet somebody, if I meet somebody, they're going to be in the same space as me. I'm not going to look to them to feel good about myself. And I don't want them to be looking to me and putting that pressure on me that it's up to me to make them feel good. We need to both attract each other because we're in the same place.
That's so true. It's such a powerful thing, this law of attraction. We're all trying to master that. And I know for myself, I attracted those dysfunctional relationships, that abuse, until I finally found my worth. And then I did my own personal work. And I'm saying, people, it takes work, it takes time, it takes the will to want to do this. But once I got done that work and I spent that time with myself, got to know myself, who I was, and not lost in these relationships, because that's what happens. We kind of get lost in the relationship, what pleasing them, or catering to their world and fitting into their world, where we get lost in that. So being able to step back, really get to know who we are, what we want, what we love, and how we love ourselves. And then from that space, I created a wonderful, loving, beautiful relationship with my now husband, who totally supports me, loves me, and just is everything I ever dreamed of. But we both had to do that work for ourselves so that I could attract that and he could attract me to him. So we're not attracting that dysfunction. And so another part of this is being able to receive love. Like we talked about, when we have a heartbreak or something, there's a wall that's put up and we don't want to be vulnerable again. We don't want to, we were hurt. And so that unfortunately blocks everything from that giving, receiving. There isn't that flow. We're not able to let that love in. So even though we may go from relationship to relationship, it's not going to work until we actually do that inner work, heal that heart, open it up again, lift off that wall, and be able to be vulnerable, to be able to be open to new love again, instead of having to say no thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So just looking at my notes, the next thing we wanted to bring in around this is sex, and how there's such a dysfunction around sex, and which brings in all those emotions from before, that abandonment, betrayal, and all these things.
And sex is also a lot different for men than it is for women. And I think that, again, is when we're looking outward instead of feeling good about ourselves. Women equate sex to love. And I think men can separate that, and it can be sex is sex. I read a study once, and it said that euphoric feeling that you feel afterwards, for the male, it can last till the act is over, maybe a minute after, maybe up to an hour. Whereas a woman can have that euphoric feeling for 24, 48 hours. And so we're going around thinking that that's giving us something that it's not.
Yeah, and that's a really good point of that euphoric feeling, that good feeling, and that, you know, causes that addiction to sex, to drugs, to
Mhm.
alcohol, whatever it is. It's like we're all looking for that good feeling, and but it's not sustainable and it never lasts until we actually find it from within ourselves and being able to come from that place of loving ourselves and finding our own good feeling in a
And
healthy way.
and we see like young people these days just giving it away because they're so desperate to get that feeling of love, that there's no respect, there's no value there. It's just giving it away, chasing that feeling, trying to be loved.
Yeah, and that brings in, sometimes people go into that with opinion that that's their worth. Somebody else is going to help show
Mhm.
them their worth within that, and a lot of this dysfunction is coming from either, you know, generations back. It's coming from sexual abuse. It's coming from so many areas, even the dysfunction that we're showing on TV and portrayed through so many ways that, but it's actually really a creative force. And that's what I really wanted to tell you, because actually the act creates babies. It's literally a miracle. And when we can bring in that energy around that, add love to it, because love is a huge energy, then that's where we can really create miraculous beyond feelings. It's actually even a gateway to enlightenment, it said. So that's pretty good.
Yes.
So that's what we're trying to say to everybody, is to love ourselves, do that inner work, heal our hearts so that we come into these relationships feeling whole and complete. We're not playing out the drama that can happen in families and relationships. We're disengaging from all of that when we do our own inner work, heal that abandonment. Where did we abandon ourselves? Where have we betrayed ourselves in our relationships? Because it's bringing it all home to us. It's not outside of ourselves, it's inside ourselves.
Yes.
And then attracting somebody in that's a match that's done their own work as well.
And that goes back to what we've talked about a lot, which is changing our filing system. Get rid of that old file. Like like you're saying, find out where you were hurt, where you abandoned yourself, what happened, and then get rid of that file and start loving yourself. And I think that brings us to our tips, which the first one is don't expect from somebody else what you're not able to give yourself. Um, we have to learn to start loving ourselves. Look in the mirror. Do the old fake it till you make it. If you're not feeling good about yourself, look in the mirror. Get comfortable with yourself. Find something that you like about yourself. Love yourself.
And I think you said it before in another show, where if you're really struggling with this, ask your friends what they see in you, some
Mm,
value that you can get some feedback in, and then you can recognize that within yourself. That's just
good
a
point.
little added, even though it
Yeah.
is outside of ourselves. Sometimes we're that low that we just can't see it or feel it. And then my tip too is placing your hands on your heart. And we've done this in several of our tips, and feeling that love. And this is another one where maybe you can't actually put your hands on your heart and feel love. Then bringing in that unconditional love you have for somebody. Maybe it was when you gave birth to your child and you held your child for the first time. That is the most purest love of all, or a pet, or just whatever it is that you can tap in to bring that feeling into the forefront. And so you can place it in your heart and fill up your whole heart space with that love, because that's what's going to create that healing.
Yes. And tip three, be aware how you're showing up in your relationship. Is there a pattern there? What's missing? What do you need to change? Check in with that old file.
Absolutely. And I wanted to talk about patterns, because patterns play out in a dysfunction with family members, and it can play out for generations, even back. It also is part of our subconscious mind sometimes, that we don't even know what we're why do I keep ending up here in this place. So that this is another opportunity. If you want to join Michael and I, we're running our mastermind group again. It's a major clearing of all these things, any powerlessness, fear, these old patterns, beliefs, things that you may not even know affecting how you're showing up in life. And this is ran again on May 11th. So you got 11 days to decide and come and join us. Michael will have the link down below, which will give you the place to go to get more information. So I look forward to you guys joining us. We have a lot of fun, and the last group has found powerful changes in their life. So there you go.
Thank you. And make sure you join us next week. We have a special guest who is also our producer, Michael Turner, and he's going to do a demonstration on Qigong, which helps us move that energy that can get stuck or blocked to create flow, health, and vitality. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. So thanks everyone for joining us. Come and join us every Sunday at 10 o'clock for the new perspective on trauma, abuse, chronic pain, and the steps to a healthy and thriving life. And we will see you all next week.
Bye, everyone.